respected seniors and my dear colleagues. Today I am going to talk about diagnostic nerve block spasm. So, at 0.2 milliampere of current, the stimulator needle is very near to the nerve or it is touching the nerve. Then we inject the local anesthetic. The contraction of the muscle stops. Then we again increase the current to 0.5 milliampere. If the contraction remains absent, the nerve has been effectively neuralized. So why go for a diagnostic nerve block? So there are many reasons for going for a diagnostic nerve block, but the main essential reason is diagnostic nerve block can help us prognosticate the changing muscle spasticity which will happen after the injury. So first we go for the diagnostic nerve blocks for shoulder adduction spasticity. The main culprit muscles are the pectoralis major, which is supplied by the lateral pectoral nerve, and the thoracodorsal nerve which supplies the latissimus dorsi. So here we see the neurolysis of the lateral pectoral nerve. Here we see the beautiful movement of the pectoralis major, which is going up to the arm. This is happening at 0.2 milliampere of current. This is the pectoralis major. This is the pectoralis minor. Here is the needle, and this is the thoracoacromial artery, which is our landmark. So this is happening at 0.2. Then we inject the local anesthetic and the movement of the muscle stops. We increase the current and still the movement remains absent. So we have effectively neutralized the lateral pectoral nerve. Then we neutralize the thoracodorsal nerve which supplies the latissimus dorsi. So this is the latissimus dorsi and this is the serratus-anterior muscle, and the thoracodorsal nerve runs between them along with the thoracodorsal artery, which is our landmark. So we see a beautiful movement of the latissimus dorsi, which is going up to the back. It inserts here, so it is going up to here. This is happening at 0.2 milliampere of current. So we inject the local anesthetic here, and after injection of local anesthetic, the contraction stops. We increase the current to 0.5 milliampere, and the contraction still remains absent. So we have effectively neutralized the thoracodorsal nerve. There is no contraction. So what is the effect of these diagnostic nerve blocks on the patient? Previously, we could abduct the arm only up to 90 degrees, but after giving these two blocks, we can easily abduct the arm overhead. Even the pain component has disappeared significantly. Then we go for the diagnostic nerve block for elbow flexion spasticity. So the main culprit muscle is brachialis, which is supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve, and the brachioradialis, which is supplied by the branch of the radial nerve just above the elbow. So we go for the musculocutaneous motor branch to the brachialis. Here is the brachialis and the upper muscle in the biceps. And we again see the brachialis is contracting, but the biceps is not contracting. Then we inject the local anesthetic, then the contraction stops. So we have effectively neutralized the musculocutaneous branch to particularly brachialis. Then we go for the radial motor branch to brachioradialis. So first we see this is the main radial nerve, this is the brachioradialis. We see the finger and wrist extension, this is the main brachial nerve. So we should not stimulate here, we change the position. See, now only the brachioradialis is moving. We reduce the stimulation to 0.2. There is only movement of the brachioradialis, no wrist and finger extension. So we have particularly gone to the motor branch to brachioradialis. Then we inject the local anesthetic. This is the local anesthetic we injected to the motor branch. The radial nerve remains intact. Here is the radial nerve. We don't go near that. And so this branch has also been effectively neutralized. As we will see, there is absence of movement. See, the movement has stopped. Now, what is the result of this case to the patient? First, the patient had a cash at 90 degrees of extension, but after the DMDs, if you see carefully, the cash has totally disappeared. Now, diagnostic nerve loss for pronator, long finger flexor, and thumb impulse facilities. First, we give the medial motor branch to pronator tails. So, we see a beautiful pronation movement, but no wrist and finger movement. So, we are not in the main branch of the medial nerve, we are only to the selective branch to pronator tails. Here is the main medial nerve, and here is the branch. So, we are stimulating it. And here is the brachial artery. The medial nerve just lies in the medial to the brachial artery. Now we inject the local anesthetic, the movement stops. So we have effectively utilized the pronator tails branch, motor branch. Then we go for the medial motor branch block to flexor digitorum superficialis. The flexor digitorum superficialis is in a strange way supplied by both the distal branch and the proximal branch. We have to utilize both the muscles to get good results. See, the joint is moving, the PIP is moving so nicely here. So we have gone into the motor branches. Then we inject the local anesthetic. After injection of the local anesthetic, the movement will stop. Here also, in some movement, it will stop in some points. So the movement has stopped. So we have effectively utilized both these branches. Now we go for the motor branch block of the anterior interosseous nerve to flexor pollicis longus. As we know, the anterior interosseous nerve is a branch of medial nerve and it supplies the flexor pollicis longus, the pronator quadratus and the flexor digitorum profundus. Here we see only the movement of the flexor pollicis longus. As we will see, there is a beautiful movement of the flexor pollicis longus, but no pronation and no movement of the DIP joint of other fingers. So we have gone to only the selective branch to FPL of AIP. Then we inject the local anesthetic and the movement stops. Okay. So we have effectively utilized this branch also. So what is the result of these blocks? So previously there was pronation spasticity and there was a long finger spasticity and thumb bounce spasticity. But after the block, there is absolutely no pronation spasticity. It's very easy to move. The wrist spasticity has also decreased significantly. The thumb bounce has gone, and the long finger flexor spasticity has also reduced significantly. So diagnostic nerve blocks for ankle flexor spasticity. So this is one of the anatomy. So first we give tibial motor branch to medial gastrocnemius. So this is the medial gastrocnemius and below is the soleus. The soleus is not contracting, the medial gastrocnemius is only contracting. This is a beautiful contraction of the medial gastrocnemius. So we inject the local anesthetic. Then again increase the current and see there is no movement of the muscle. The movement has been abolished, so we have effectively utilized this motor branch also. Now we go for the tibial motor branch to lateral gastrocnemius. This is the lateral gastrocnemius and below is the soleus. The soleus is not moving. Beautiful movement of the lateral gastrocnemius. So we inject the local anesthetic and the movement stops. So we effectively utilize this selective motor branch to lateral gastrocnemius. We increase the current and see there is still no movement. So this is a good neurolysis. Now for the tibial motor branch to soleus. See, the first layer of muscle is the gastrocnemius, the middle layer is the soleus, and the last layer is the tibialis posterior and other deep muscles. We see the movement only in the middle layer, which is the soleus. So we have effectively stimulated the motor branch to soleus. Now we inject the local anesthetic and see the movement has disappeared. So we have effectively utilized this branch also. So what is the result of this BMPs? Previously there was a lot of illness and the ankle was a little bit plantar fixed. But after giving the block, the illness has totally disappeared, and while bending the knee, you can partially dorsiflex the ankle. So some part of the contraction component remains, but a lot of spasticity has been decreased. So the limitations of DNPs, some muscles which are important for the spasticity cannot be intervened by DNPs. They need focal point blocks. For more permanent therapy, these muscles need interventions by botulinum toxin muscles. Take-home message. There are many take-home messages. The most important is if there is a good response to CMP focal branch block to a muscle, a low-cost therapy such as phenol neurolysis can be tried. Important in the Indian clinical scenario. Prior neurolysis and radiofrequency ablation are new upcoming therapies. These are my references. Thank you.